Reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 6. And we'll be discussing text number 13 and 14. The Lord is describing from 10th sloka onwards practice of Dhyan Yoga. And we have discussed in the previous slokas Shuchau deshe pratisthapya sthiramasanamatmanah नाति उच्छ्रितम नाति नीचम चैलाजिन कुशोत्तरम तत्रैकाग्रम मनः कृत्वा यतचित्तेन्द्रिय क्रियः उपविश्यासने युञ्ज्याद् योगम आत्मविशुद्धये. One should place himself in a clean place, pure, holy place. Fix himself, his asana should be fixed. It should be his own asana, otherwise there will be fight. You took my asana. Then it should not be too high. One devotee gave me an explanation that if it is too high and suppose he sleeps, then he will fall down and hit himself. This was my speculation yesterday, but it was confirmed. And if it is too low, then suppose he's sitting in meditation, suddenly some insects will come. Every day we sleep, at least I am sleeping on bed, because when I sleep on the floor, sometimes I tried and ants are coming. So that can be understood from that point. It should be covered with deer skin. No, first kusha, then deer skin, and then soft cloth. And then he should focus the mind. But the Lord has not told on what he should focus the mind. That we will tell in today's sloka. And he should control his senses, his activities, and the mind. All these things should be done for Yungjad Yogam Atma Vishuddha, so that the Atma can be purified. And that means by purification of Atma, one will get a realization of Atma Paramatma. So the goal is very clear. It should not be done for any material purpose. Now let us start today's sloka. How one should sit. So this is explained by the Lord himself. Samam kaya shiro girivam
Samam kaya shiro grivam
Dharayan achalam sthirah
Dharayan achalam sthirah
Sampreksha nasikagram swam
Swam preksha nasikagram swam
Dishaschanavalokayan
Dishaschanavalokayan
Prashantatma vigatabhi
Prashantatma vigatabhi
Brahmachari vrate स्थितः
ब्रह्मचारी व्रते स्थितः
मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तो
मनः संयम्य मच्चित्तो
युक्त आसीत मत्परः
युक्त आसीत मत्परः.
Will not recite multiple times because the sloka is a little longer. Translation. One should hold one's body, neck and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Thus, with an unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within the heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. Kaya shirah grivam. Kaya means your body. Shirah means your head. And griva means your neck. So now you see I am sitting like this. This is how, not like this obviously, like this one should sit. So many times when devotees are on Zoom, I have told them not to put the phone down. Sometimes they think that I want them to meditate on me. So why this fellow is telling me to keep the phone in the front? Have you ever thought why I am saying like that? People don't understand. Several times the problem is they will not hear also, they will never understand. They will put the phone down, and it's also not that they will not look at the phone. So they're constantly looking at the phone like this. And some people, I will say, they have such less intelligence. Sometimes they'll put the phone like this, and they're sitting like this, and then they look at I'm chanting. This is a height of foolishness. Why you don't come in the meeting? If you are so distracted, you switch off the phone. Who's telling? You are putting the phone on side and then looking, what is he doing? And then again, this is stupidness. I mean, no other words. This is stupidness. Is it not? Unalloyed, unadulterated stupidness. So, I'm just saying that people basically I have seen people are just not conscious. Just not conscious. So how it will help? First you understand this. as per the Yoga Sutras, when you sit like this, the energy from your lowest part of your spine, it begins to flow upwards. You know this? Many times you see, I will give example, Mukundat Prabhu, Prabhupada's disciple, Vaisheshika Prabhu. Whenever they will give class, they will actually sit very straight. Actually, for anything, for japa or anything, they sit very straight. Mahatma Prabhu also. This is very important for yoga practice. Let's do it. Sit like this. Try, please try. How you feel? Very comfortable. Immediately you will feel that your body is in a different mood. Immediately your mind gets affected. So that's why nowhere it is mentioned, whether you do pranayam, asana or dhyan, that your back should be like louchy, not louchy, slouchy. You cannot be a slouchy sadhaka. Like this. So this is extremely important. Did you get this meaning? Kaya shira grivam samam achalam dharayan. Samam, they should be in a straight line. Then also they should not move. Achalam dharayan. Holding straight and unmoving. Is that okay? Sthira, being steady. Swam nasika agram. Staring at the tip of one's nose, not others' nose. That's why the word is swam. Not that you look at someone else's nose, you look at your own nose. Now what does that mean? That will help to focus the mind, or you focus the mind here at the Agya Chakra. Can you do that? Agya Chakra is here. Something like that. This is not recommended. We don't do these things because we focus on Hare Krishna mantra. But at least the sitting posture has to be learned. Okay? The question is, if you focus on the nose, then how will you focus on the eyebrow? Either of them. Either you focus on the eyebrow or you focus on the nose. Dishascha anavalokayan. This is very practical for us. And not looking on all sides. How can we meditate like this? You tell that I am meditating when I am seeing 8:30, fan, tube light. This is too bright light. Mridang. Oh, Mridang. Then the mind is processing. How old that Mridang is? Whom does that Mridang belong to? Got it? This is called parallel processing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare. Who has kept this kartal there? Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Why sitting like this? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So this is not a meditation. So we cannot say this is Shubh Krishna Das' opinion. This is Krishna's instruction here. Dishascha anavalokayan. Today also in the Zoom meeting, I was telling to one devotee, I cannot hear his sound, but simply by his eyes we can make up that he was only doing dishascha avalokayan. Looking at what the devotees are doing. Hare Krishna, Krishna. Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Ram Ram. And when a person is chanting like this, if you hear his chanting, you can, by the sound, you can make out that he is not attentive. Can you guess? Have you noticed that? Simply by the sound of that person's chanting, you can make out that he is not hearing his chanting. This has happened with one Srila Prabhupada disciple, Karanadhar Prabhu, who was serving Srila Prabhupada. This story is told by devotee, recorded there. And he was not chanting attentively. And he was outside. Somehow that Prabhupada was hearing his chanting. Then Prabhupada called him inside and Prabhupada said, "What were you doing?" Now that's very obvious. A person is chanting. So is it not that he is chanting? Why Prabhupada asked him that what were you doing? He said, "Prabhupada, I was chanting." Then Prabhupada asked him, "Were you also hearing your chanting?" So Prabhupada had not seen him chanting, heard him chanting. I think everybody will understand what I am trying to say. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Hare Ram. Both kind of chantings are quite prevalent. So person is completely lost what he was doing. So you see, if you are putting your eyes like this or something, I'm not saying you have to do, but all these things will make you conscious what we are doing, not that we are lost and forget what we are doing. Are you able to follow? So another point what we learned is that we are not supposed to look all around wherever we can look, as far as we can look while we are chanting. All these things we are mapping for chanting. Prashantatma vigatabhir, being peaceful and fearless. Brahmachari vratesthatha, situated in the vow of celibacy. Manah sanyamya, easy to understand, completely subduing the mind. Mat chittaha, mat paraha, mind thinking of me and devoted to me. That means thinking of Krishna and thinking to attain Krishna as the highest goal of one's sadhana. That is called mat paraha. Are you able to follow? Mat chitta means thinking of Krishna, and mat paraha means by this thinking of Krishna, I'll attain Krishna. It's not that I am going for liberation. So see, instruction of the Lord is very clear. Now a person may think differently. He may think of Krishna to get some siddhis, but that is not proper yogi. Mat chittaha means thinking of Krishna, and mat paraha means that Krishna is my highest goal. There can be some yogis who chant Hare Krishna, but they are not Krishna para. Their highest goal is not devotion or pure devotional service to Krishna. This is a very subtle and important point you have to understand. A proper yogis, whether any dhyan yogi or anyone, their goal should be Krishna para. Mat para is very clearly told by Krishna here. They should the realization of Krishna. Prabhupada will open his purport with that. Okay? And yukta asita, the yogi should sit. That means the purpose of Ashtanga yogi should be to get realization of the Lord. Look at the Sanskrit. Samam kaya shiro grivam. What does this mean? The body, the head and the neck should all be in one line. Check it. Dharayan achalam sthara. So now they're in one line, but not that you keep on wobbling it. You fix it. Sampreksha nasikagram swam. So because it is Dhyan Yoga, then Lord is saying you fix your gaze at the tip of your nose. Disascha 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐻. You don't look at all the places of the world. Prashantatma vigatabhi. Remain peaceful and fearless. Brahmachari vratesthatha, free from all kind of sense gratification. Manah samyamya, fixing the mind. Matchitta, fix the mind on me. And yukta asit, you be engaged in yoga in this way. Mat parha, with the highest goal as Krishna. Is it clear? Fine. Don't worry, you can sit in any way in the class. Not too slouchy, but be comfortable. If you sit more like a Dhyan yogi, get the tip of the nose, that will make me uncomfortable also. I cannot give class like this, is it not? I have to look at the sloka. But some points we can pick up from Dhyan Yoga. These Gita Bhushan commentary, these verses describe how to hold the body while sitting on the asana. Kaya refers to the middle portion of the body. That means this torso, you can say. The neck, torso and head are mentioned together in a compound word as a unit. Since they are all limbs of the living entity, but the compound Kaya Shiro Grivam Dharayan actually indicates separate limbs. So that means already, although it's one word, but it's referring to different limbs of the body. Easy to understand. Thus the meaning is keeping the torso, the neck and the head straight. Samam. They should not shake. So I was telling one devotee was chanting like this. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. That if you do like this, that disturbs other devotees also, is it not? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare. That is for kirtan. You can dance in the kirtan in any way, but is it not? But chanting is very. Doing it is how the devotees are feeling, is it not? Suppose during the class, I'm constantly moving like. बंद करो यार इसका video. Is it not? I'm constantly moving. Then you feel very uncomfortable, nahi? I'm just doing it purposely to agitate all of you. How do you feel? You feel nice? Is it not? I'm constantly moving. You just can't focus. Prabhuji, come on, chill, relax. Okay. So like this. So we should practice. Now why this is a problem? Because mind constantly wants some change. That is the whole thing. That is very difficult for the mind. Why he is not moving? I have seen His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj chanting. Amazing. Like a rock, he will just sit. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Even His Holiness Loknath Maharaj, personally I have seen. Very nicely they chant. Bhakti Ratha Samit Maharaj. Many serious chanters. Vaisheshika Prabhu. Also Gudakesh Prabhu. Very nicely they just sit and one person. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. I mean, I cannot imitate them, but they chant very seriously, very intensely. Okay. They should not shake. With determined effort, sthira, one should gaze at the tip of the nose. So that we don't have to do. Or between the brows. This. We at least, best is to have something Hare Krishna mantra written. You just focus on this. That is, you can work. Best is actually Hare Krishna mantra written. You just Hare Krishna mantra is written, and you keep chanting like that. That's why in our Zoom also I just write this, keep this Hare Krishna mantra on my sides, like that. Okay. Or between the eyebrows, in order to prevent the mind from sleeping or wandering. See, even in Zoom, I tell devotees, if they feel that they are distracted, you minimize your screen, if you are on laptop, and then you have Hare Krishna mantra written on a screen. But for other devotees, inspiration, because what happens is when you open your eyes and you see a devotee chanting nicely, in a subtle way it inspires you to chant nicely. So if you feel distracted, you join by laptop because it's only possible in laptop, and you just minimize the screen. We are not telling look at the screen, but I mean, I'm saying it purposely in the context of Zoom. Otherwise, somebody is alone, then there's no issue. Then you can just have Hare Krishna mantra. Okay? You want to say something in the mic?
Even it helps to pronounce nicely.
Yeah, it helps to pronounce also. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay? One should not look here and there. This is very interesting. You know where we look? At the watch. Mostly, when a person chants Hare Krishna mantra, he does not have taste, then he will look at the watch. Kitna time ho gaya? 5:30, 5:45, 6, 6:15, 6:30. But Krishna is not saying that. The verb asit is in verse 14. The mind should be undisturbed. This is very important. This is extremely important. You're chanting and then suddenly, Prabhuji, बहुत important काम है. So, as far as possible, something as emergency is a different thing, but as far as possible, one should not get disturbed by things. Emergency thing is a different thing, but every day cannot be an emergency. See, Krishna's name is highest thing, but are we putting our highest effort in it? That we should understand. This is a very important point. Krishna has invested all his energies in his holy name, but are we chanting with all the energy? That has to be questioned. It cannot be the last priority thing in a life. Nahin? Something which will take us to the spiritual world cannot be the last priority of our life or day. The mind should be undisturbed. So peacefully in the morning hours you can chant. One should be fearless and should maintain vows of celibacy. Prabhupada will discuss, and that I'll discuss there. This yogi should sit, withdrawing his mind from sense objects, thinking of my beautiful form with 4 arms, machitta, having me alone as the goal, matpara. These 2 words are clear to you? Yes, Prabhu. Speak in the mic.
Here it has been mentioned that he has to focus on the tip of the nose. And then simultaneously, how he can focus on Krishna?
I don't know. I was expecting this question. That if you are looking at the tip of the nose, how will you think of the Lord in the heart or wherever? I have no idea. So, see, I am only picking up those points which are helpful for our bhakti. I'm not going to look at my nose. Don't worry. So I look at the Hare Krishna mantra or look the picture of Krishna. So that details I don't know. That disclaimer was given in the beginning of 10th sloka only, I think, or in the beginning of this chapter. I can't tell you the details of Dhyan Yoga because even if I tell you, are you going to do? So, is it not? You can ask, but I will simply say I don't know. This question was coming in my mind also. If I was sitting in your place, I would ask the same question. How looking at the nose, I think of Krishna. तो हमको नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. But the essence has to be taken. This line is should not be underestimated. Think of Krishna with the goal that Krishna's lotus feet is my highest attainment. Mat paraha. This is extremely important. And that's what Prabhupada opens up the purport with. The goal of life is to know Krishna, who is situated within the heart of every living being as Paramatma, the four-handed Vishnu form. Okay? The yoga process is practiced in order to discover and see this localized form of Vishnu, and not for any other purpose. That means neither for siddhis, neither for some sense gratification. The localized Vishnu Murti is the plenary representation of Krishna dwelling within one's heart. Plenary means equally powerful. He is Krishna. One who has no program to realize this Vishnu Murti is uselessly engaged in mock yoga practice and is certainly wasting his time. Yoga means yogaha chitta vritti nirodha. That means the vrittis of mind which flows outward, it has to be stopped and turned inward towards Krishna, Vishnu. That if you don't want to do that, then it's only a show of yoga. Mock yoga practice, you understand? Not real yoga, only mockery, only show. Krishna is the ultimate goal of life, and the Vishnu Murti situated in one's heart is the object of yoga practice. So one should realize that to realize this Vishnu Murti within the heart, one has to observe complete abstinence from sex life. Therefore, one has to leave home and live alone in a secluded place, remaining seated as mentioned above. One cannot enjoy sex life daily at home or elsewhere, that means at brothels or anywhere, and attend a so-called yoga class and thus become a yogi. Self-explanatory. One has to practice controlling the mind and avoiding all kinds of sense gratification, of which sex life is the chief, because it is the highest expression of our envy towards the Supreme Lord. That's why it has to be minimized to the extent of zero. It is the only shackle which shackles us to this material world. So when it is allowed, it is not the highest principle even in married life. It is only allowed because at certain age this tendency is very strong, but not that we carry it on all throughout our life, provided if we want to realize Krishna. If we want to play around, then do whatever we wish to do, but these things cannot go hand in hand. In the rules of celibacy written by the great sage 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎𝐻, it is said, Karmana manasa vacha sarvavasthasu sarvada sarvatra maithuna tyago brahmacharyam prachakshate. The vow of brahmacharya is meant to help one completely abstain from sex indulgence in work, words, mind, at all times, under all circumstances and all places. Quite heavy. Not that we engage it even in the mind. Even in the mind it is impure. What to talk of words and actually in action. It completely reverses the whole process where we think that we are soul. Not think, but we realize and are aware that we are soul. The more a person engages in sense gratification, even in theory also, he cannot understand that I am not this body. Anyone. It's not that bhakti yogis have been given some license or like that. You will see how Prabhupada is saying. No one can perform correct yoga practice through sex indulgence. Why Prabhupada is hammering this point? Because it is to be hammered in the brain of conditioned soul that this is not favorable for bhakti or any yoga practice. Brahmacharya is taught, therefore, from childhood when one has no knowledge of sex life. Children at the age of 5 are sent to the Gurukul or the place of the spiritual master, and the master trains the young boys in the strict discipline of becoming brahmacharis. Without such practice, no one can make advancement in any yoga, whether it be Dhyan, Gyan or Bhakti. So sometimes a person may think that all this brahmacharya and all these things is only for tapasvis, not for bhakti yogis. Or to the effect, some devotee told, some other devotee was telling, who can follow the all regulative principles in this yoga? Anyhow you take initiation. Wow. That's quite amazing, right? Who can follow these 4 regulative principles? People have asked me, do you know someone who is following the 4 regulative principles fully? So, we have to think about it, and this actually puts water on our fire of yoga. So even some things I should not speak. One who, however, follows the rules and regulations of married life, having a sexual relationship only with his wife, and that also under regulation, is also called a brahmachari. Okay, let me tell this. One time, one disciple asked Srila Prabhupada, he was a grahastha or about to be grahastha, something like that. Then Prabhupada was, what are the rules and regulations? He said, only once in a month association should be there with the wife, and that also for procreation. Then he said, I might as well give it up. Then Prabhupada said, you got the point. And nowadays, which guru will tell? He says, Prabhupada is telling in all his books, which guru will tell? Now, you know what happens? People have told me that what happens is, now this is talking about devotees. When they get married, they say, this is my dharma patni. It is my full right to enjoy. But my dear devotee, she is your dharma patni, not a prostitute. And this secret was told to me by a grahastha devotee. The wife respects a detached husband. And she, very interesting, he said that the wife controls the husband through service, and the husband controls the wife through detachment. If the husband is a lusty fellow, the wife will not respect him. Simple as simple. No jhagda isme. There's no jhagda. People don't learn these things. Now all these things look, I use the word bizarre to a conditioned soul now, because there is no training. If the goal is to attain God, then a person can sacrifice anything, is it not? Sometimes we should understand how much happiness we can juice it out, or how to say, extract from this body which is actually filthy only. Hai na? How much happiness you can derive from this body which is actually nothing more than a bag of bones. Such a restrained householder brahmachari may be accepted in the bhakti school, but the Gyan and Dhyan schools do not even admit householder brahmacharis. They require, got this point? They won't take you unless you give up home and wife and children, etc. They require complete abstinence without compromise. Now, Prabhupada says something very encouraging. In the bhakti school, a householder brahmachari is allowed controlled sex life because the cult of bhakti yoga is so powerful that one automatically loses sexual attraction being engaged in the superior service of the Lord. This is the test of our advancement in bhakti, how much we have developed a distaste for these things. And nobody has to be discouraged as we keep on doing bhakti. The more we keep chanting, especially we hear Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, then actually the mind gives up these lower taste. If it cannot be given up, then why the process is given? You tell me. If it cannot be cured, then why the process of bhakti is there? Why bhakti yoga is there? If it is impossible, then why Shastra is speaking about it? Hai na? In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinah rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Whereas others are forced to restrain themselves from sense gratification, a devotee of the Lord automatically refrains because of superior taste. I would like to tell a story of Srila Prabhupada which will drive the point very carefully. Very clear. One time Prabhupada asked to his disciple, this was quite strange, what do you see good in the woman's body? Why are you so attracted? Then he says, everything is in its proper place. Such bold statement to Srila Prabhupada. And such a person took sannyas. This is all recorded. I think many of you have read this. Such a person took sannyas. I won't take the name, but there's such a person. Because of chanting Hare Krishna. He must be super lusty to say this to Prabhupada. To Prabhupada. Can you speak like that to Prabhupada? It is really bold to say like this to Prabhupada, ne? To the spiritual master, pure devotee. I want Prabhupada now to discuss why are you so attracted? What is so attractive? If we can analyze our own body, we have to take bath every day, we have to clean our bodies every day. What is there attractive in the body? But only because of passion that we become so illusioned to attraction, so to speak. And the same person, by chanting Hare Krishna, by hearing, he actually took sannyas. See the potency of bhakti. Just imagine Haridas Thakur, he was very young. He was the prostitute came to allure him. Maya Devi came to allure. So the only way we can be actually saved from this attraction is by developing bhakti. As we develop more and more bhakti, naturally we give up these things. In the beginning, there may be struggle to maintain brahmacharya and all that, but we must remember that as we keep on doing bhakti, naturally brahmacharya will follow. You will see that Prabhupada says in 6th canto, 1st chapter, if the tongue is controlled, brahmacharya automatically follows. Tapasa brahmacharya na, you read that purport. Prabhupada says, if the tongue is controlled, tongue only tastes prasadam and chants Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Automatically brahmacharya will follow. You are associating with the highest brahmachari, Krishna. This is very nice. Other than the devotee, no one has any information of that superior taste. That means the yogis and other people, they have no taste of serving Krishna. So you see how even, 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎 fall prey to these desires. So Prabhupada is talking about brahmacharya. One more point Prabhupada says elsewhere is that why a person does not have determination for bhakti, and the reason is excessive sex life. That's why the strong determination that I will do bhakti does not come in their heart. And also the effect is hazy consciousness. We can't understand subtle things. Have you not noticed? People who are steeped in sense gratification, rasgulle ki tarah, they can't understand the subtle points which we discuss in philosophy like that. Just cannot do. No matter how hard they try, and they may be very intelligent materially, but subtle points of Bhagavad Gita, they just can't pick up. It's because of sense gratification. Okay? Vigata bhi. Bhi means fear. Vigata, giving up fear. One cannot be fearless unless one is fully in Krishna consciousness. That means no matter how much material facilities we may have, money or other things, we still be fearful. This is unrefutable. No matter how much money or anything a person has, he will still be fearful if he has no shelter in Krishna. A conditioned soul. Why a conditioned soul is fearful? A conditioned soul is fearful due to his perverted memory. Perverted, turned upside down. His forgetfulness of his eternal relationship with Krishna. Okay, let me read it and then I'll explain. The Bhagavatam says, Bhayam dvitiyabhinivesh tasyad ishadapetasya viparyaya smriti. Krishna consciousness is the only basis for fearlessness. Therefore, perfect practice is possible for a person who is Krishna conscious. Understand this. Very simple example will illustrate. You have seen how a child holding the hand of his father crosses the road very happily and easily. Why? Because he is very much aware that I am under the protection of my father. And what if the same child is on the road alone? Now you can understand his fearfulness. Simple. I think this example is clarifying. So when I am forgetful of my relationship with the Lord, although Lord is in my heart, but because I am forgetful, I feel unsheltered. Do you agree? Who will take care of me? Although Lord is there in the heart. One mother, she was talking to me today. Oh, my child, my daughter, what will happen to her? Oh, let her be married and all these things. If she is married, then we can die very nicely, easy like that. All these things. But I asked her a simple question. When the daughter was in your stomach or womb, who was taking care? Don't give me so much knowledge. I know that his knowledge is there. It's not knowledge, it's his reality, is it not? Who is protecting? Krishna is protecting. Our Nitya Prabhu's mother and father, our one devotee here, died when he was a young boy. Someone else took care of him. He's hale and hearty, is it not? We have so many examples. Father is dying, mother is dying. My uncle's friend, when he was 3 days old, his mother died. And he became a big engineer. Krishna can maintain us through anyone. Not that we understand the point. We should not lose our faith. So we are feeling unsheltered because we don't feel a relationship with the Lord. And that is because of a impure heart. To the degree our heart is purified, to that degree we can understand Krishna is always protecting us. So this is an important point. So that's what Prabhupada says, only a person who is Krishna conscious can be fearless. Prabhupada himself is example. And since the ultimate goal of yoga practice is to see the Lord within, a Krishna conscious person is already the best of all yogis. Why? Well, he's seeing Krishna right in front of him in the form of a deity. It's not that he has to meditate all the while, then he will see Krishna. Is it not? Are we not approaching Krishna directly by chanting his names, by hearing his words, by seeing his deity form? Okay? The principles of the yoga system mentioned herein are different from those of the popular so-called yoga societies, which only advance or advocate keeping the body strong for sense gratification. So, okay. Some of the things might feel very heavy, but it's not heavy, it's just how the yoga system is designed. So, I think you got the message. So, we shall stop here. No questions. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, 𝐕𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐎.